But she needs to be on a better. She needs to be on a better team.
Let's be real. Caitlin Clark is gone. She's packed up, moved on, and she's not glancing back no matter what anyone tries to say. And honestly, good for her. She knows her worth, something the league clearly never did. Why would she stay in a system that turned her into a target instead of protecting her? The wild part is that ESPN's still talking like they have a say in her future, even though she's already secured that massive new deal overseas.
She struggled with physical defense she's faced at the professional level and voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." That's what Caitlin...
She's been taking non-stop abuse, not only from players, but from fans too. And the refs just stood there like nothing was happening. Even some supporters couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that she was the only one holding everything together. In a way, she was carrying the weight of a league that kept exposing its own chaos.
I am upset about. It's like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays all season.
Here's the truth. Caitlin Clark just dropped a bomb on the WNBA and everyone's losing it. She's finally made it clear that she's worth more than being treated like some overworked, underappreciated cash machine. So yeah, ESPN, your golden ticket just cashed out. What's left now is a gaping hole. A massive loss for a league that leaned on her all season. She took every hit, every cheap foul, and kept going like she was playing hockey instead of basketball. But now, she's taking her talents to Europe, and the funniest part? ESPN's pretending they don't care. But make no mistake, she's done being the face of a system that never had her back. And honestly, who could blame her?
She's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And
This player isn't just improving, she's evolving into a whole new level of greatness. In her last matchup against the Connecticut Sun, Caitlin Clark went off for 29 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. Meanwhile, her teammates looked completely lost, missing open shots, running broken plays, and making rookie-level mistakes. And through it all, the WNBA just stood by. Fans didn't tune in to watch her get tackled every game, but that's exactly what it started to feel like. A brawl instead of basketball. Every time Clark hit the court, it turned into a battle she had to survive, not just play.
Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the W.
Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the Indiana Fever could barely pull in 3,000 fans a night. The games felt more like small-town gatherings than pro matchups. But the moment she stepped onto the scene, everything changed. Suddenly, over 177,000 fans were showing up throughout the season. That's a 400% surge in attendance. Now ESPN and the analysts are finally waking up, realizing they've been sitting on a gold mine this entire time. Funny how the light bulb only goes off once the money starts rolling in.
Indiana Fever, all right, with Caitlin Clark, led the league in attendance both home and on the road. Fever averaged 17,000.
Think about that for a second. That's real impact. The league didn't just have a star, they had a once-in-a-generation talent. But instead of rallying behind the player who single-handedly pushed the WNBA into the spotlight, everyone got caught up in this idea of spreading the spotlight instead of actually celebrating the one who earned it.
If Caitlin Clark is the quote-unquote savior, if she's the golden girl, milk it!
And if we're talking numbers, just look at the merch. Caitlin Clark's jersey outsold every player in WNBA history, even legends like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird. That's not just impressive, that's record-breaking. She turned the league into must-see television, with every game feeling like a national event. But did ESPN treat her like the generational star she is? Not even close. They gave her average coverage, as if she were just another face in the crowd. Now they're scrambling to rewrite the narrative. But the truth is, they slept on her for too long.
Truth is finally coming to the light. The same light that is going to be dimming here in about 12 hours when Caitlin Clark is eliminated from the playoffs.
What's wild is seeing ESPN's reaction now, after Caitlin Clark decided to take her talents to Europe. Following what can only be described as a nightmare stretch in the WNBA, suddenly everyone's acting like they care. Her matchup against the New York Liberty pulled in 1.5 million viewers, topping some NBA games on TNT. And now that she's gone, expect empty arenas, untouched jerseys, and a bunch of ESPN analysts scrambling to explain how they managed to fumble the easiest win in sports media history.
It's important that we point this out. One of the things that I brought up this morning in talking about Caitlin Clark is that some of the players, you want to use the word jealousy, fine. You want to use the word envy.
Picture this, you're the face of a franchise, the league's brightest rising star, and yet you're treated like a target. That's exactly what Caitlin Clark went through. The physicality she faced wasn't just tough, it was brutal, like she was stepping into a street brawl instead of a basketball game. And the worst part? The league just stood by, pretending nothing was wrong, while she took hit after hit with no protection.
But if you're not delivering the product, and you're not making the revenue, and you're not, giving people the entertainment that they want, then you're not gonna make any money, and your league is going to...
If you've watched even a single game, you probably noticed it. The refs acting like they're blindfolded, pretending not to see anything. And what did the WNBA do about it? Nothing. The infamous iPad incident should have been the moment they stepped up, but instead, they brushed it off like it was no big deal. They made it seem perfectly normal for a superstar to be treated like she didn't belong. Even Caitlin Clark admitted she felt like she was getting beaten up out there. And honestly, she wasn't wrong.
And this woman swats at the basketball and somehow decides to turn her hand down and her fingernails and jab them right into the eye of Caitlin Clark. No foul call. No refs stopping the game to go, is this a flagrant? None of that. Just everybody moved on.
And the mental strain? It's unreal. You're out there giving everything to lead your team, yet you're left exposed, unprotected, and somehow still blamed for not being tough enough to take it. Seriously, give me a break. There are no words for what that kind of pressure does to a player. Every missed call, every cheap hit. Where was the support then? Now everyone's trying to play catch up, and honestly, it's just sad. The league and its loyal media completely dropped the ball, and they're still doing it.
Those guys, they're the racists, when really, y'all are the racists. The people coming up with excuses to hate Caitlin Clark and the new fan base that she brought.
But it didn't stop there. Things got even messier. Alyssa Thomas decided to bring race into the conversation, suggesting that Caitlin Clark's success was tied to racial bias among fans. And instead of highlighting Clark's incredible talent and what she's accomplished on the court, ESPN ran with the controversy. Thomas's comments turned into accusations, framing Caitlin's rise as something deeper than just hard work and skill. And that's where the whole thing really spiraled.
Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it.
They took Caitlin Clark's incredible accomplishments and twisted them into some forced racial narrative. Instead of celebrating her dominance on the court, they turned it into headline drama. Rather than focusing on her record-breaking performances, the way she dropped defenders, shattered stats, and literally carried an entire team on her shoulders, they made it about everything but her greatness.
14,000 followers. And it's really easy to ignore, and most people don't know who she is in the sports world. The only reason why people even know who she is because of Caitlin Clark. And she still only got 14,000 followers on Twitter. She doesn't have much of a brand.
Caitlin Clark didn't back down. She stood firm and made it clear that her success came from relentless work and determination, not from some made-up racial storyline. But the fact that she even had to defend herself says everything about how off-balance the media coverage has become. Instead of celebrating her as the generational star she is, they pushed divisive narratives just to stir the pot. She was their golden ticket, the face who could have taken the WNBA to new heights, and they blew it. Now instead of building her up, they've poisoned the conversation, turning what should have been a unifying moment into unnecessary chaos. Clark deserves praise for her grind, not to be dragged into sideshow drama that only hurts the league's image.
Your biggest star, your meal ticket, the reason why you have relevancy just got stabbed and assaulted and nothing.
All in all, this whole mess is making the WNBA look completely amateurish. And don't even get me started on their so-called inclusion efforts. The league desperately needs a reality check. All season, they've been selling themselves as the champion of opportunity and equality, but when it came time to safeguard their most valuable star, they left her completely exposed.
What I am upset about is like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays all.
Now the WNBA and ESPN are left scrambling, dealing with the aftermath of their own mistakes. They ignored the one player who single-handedly made the league exciting to watch. It's too little, too late. They had a golden opportunity to make Caitlin Clark the face of the league, to build an entire franchise around her, and they blew it. Now, she's taking her talent and all the hype she generated to a league that actually values her. Everyone's suddenly acting like they just realized she's the real deal. As Caitlin heads to Europe, she's stepping into a place that will respect her skills and won't let her get battered every game while refs look the other way. Meanwhile, ESPN is left with nothing, desperately trying to cover up the fact that they let a generational talent slip right through their fingers. This should be a wake-up call for them, because right now, they've become the punchline of their own story. Her move to Europe will wreak havoc on ESPN's ratings and expose just how blind they were to the treasure they had in their hands. The buzz, the merchandise sales, the excitement she brought, all of it is now history, while the league tries to hype up players who can't come close to matching what Clark accomplished in a single season. In her absence, the WNBA and ESPN are left scrambling. They could have built an empire around her, but instead, they settled for scraps. This isn't just a loss, it's a full-blown tragedy. Players like Caitlin Clark are once-in-a-generation talents, and they deserve to be treated like royalty. ESPN and the league failed to do that. Caitlin? She's off to Europe to shine, and honestly, she deserves every bit of it.